Hello, this is Techie once again, the former spokesperson for the American Cultural Tradition and/or Cultural Memory Complaint Department, and the current head and/or chief and/or director and/or director head chief and/or head director chief and/or chief head director of the Stochastic Intelligence Agency. And once again, I am coming to you in both of my roles, the former spokesperson for the American Cultural Tradition and/or Cultural Memory Complaint Department. And I suppose if we were going to complain about cultural memory and/or tradition today, we would be complaining about the fact that these are not Union flags, but Confederate flags. And the reason that these folks here, and perhaps we should identify them, are carrying them is because this is Washington, D.C. Union Station, but they're currently in the process of changing its name under the direction of head chief name changer. Yes, there he is, holding his very own Confederate flag with a bit of a twist. It looks like it's got a little swastika-style curve in it, doesn't it? Yes, this is in fact, yes, anyone? Stephen, Jewish cracker, don't know he black Miller. Yes, indeed. And under Stephen, Jewish cracker, don't know he black Miller, the main depot of trains and shopping center, because it is such a shopping center, and home of very fancy and not so fancy restaurants, both fast food and very unfast food. Formerly known, the train depot, formerly known as Union Station in D.C., is in the process of changing its name, and it will now be called either. And they haven't decided on this yet, so you can vote. You can call in, and you can state your preference. It's either going to be called Confederate Station or Confederacy Station or Station of the Confederacy. So if one of those catches your interest more than the other, and you prefer one, you go ahead and call in. And the number that you're going to want to call in and tell them, inform them that you're responding to the name change, and you'd like to see whichever one that is, Confederacy Station, Station of the Confederacy, or Confederate Station. The number is 202-289-1908, and they're going to be make some changes in the station. We'll talk about those, and those are you can't vote on changes that they are intending to make in the station. Those have already been determined, and we'll just introduce the characters here. This is you notice they're all holding variations on the Confederate flag. This is angry white guy, angry white man, security guy, and then not quite as angry white lady, security person. And why she's holding her Confederate flag upside down, I have no idea. Unless they just had to remove. They might have had to remove some drug addicts, homeless individuals, mentally ill individuals with disabilities, or other people who otherwise didn't belong inside the station. The station is now segregated, as you might expect from a station named after the Confederacy of the United States. But in any case, we'll get to all that, and how it's segregated, and who is allowed in and who isn't, and who can be arrested on site and or shot, and like I said, and or shot, maybe shot later, arrested and black bag. But yes, angry white man holding a Confederate flag, angry white security guy, and slightly less angry white lady with holding her Confederate flag upside down for unknown reasons. This is Chris. Does anybody remember Chris's nickname? Chris. Yes, Chris. Alcohol doesn't create national security risks. People do, Hegseth. Or it's not. Why do I always call him Chris? It's Pete. It's Pete. That's not Chris. That's Pete. Pete. Alcohol doesn't create national security risks. People do, Hegseth. And of course, the famous was it 5-time or was it 3, 4, or 5-time winner of the what is it called? The military swift boating championship. The military and or hillbilly swift boating champion. JDCC. Anyone remember what that stands for? That's couch cushion. JD couch cushion Vance. Yes. National champion in the hillbilly swift boating ex-military championships. Yes. And there's the famous holding simultaneously both a Confederate flag and making reference to the flag used to exterminate and ghettoize his own people. Yes it is. It's a Nazi swastika. Yeah. And this of course is yes. Anyone remember? Stephen, Jewish cracker, don't know he black Miller. Yes, indeed. And he's largely responsible for the new design and distribution of rules at the Confederate Station or Confederacy Station or Station of the Confederacy. You're going to decide that by calling that number. Anyone remember the number? It's 202-289-1908. So be sure that you get your vote counted before they decide on what the new name's going to be. Okay, so let's talk about some of the changes. Well, you'll notice from the picture that everyone in the picture is yes. Designated by that imaginary construct of racial whiteness. Yes, so if you're not white, you're not going to be allowed into the Station of the Confederacy or Confederate Station or whatever they decide to call it. And if you are a person of color, you can wait outside. And I'm not sure if you can take the trains or not. But you see all these folks over here. Now, before we get going on some of the rules, see this gentleman here behind the podium? He's watching this gentleman taking a photograph of these gentlemen. Well, he's going to be black bagged later. You can place a black bag over this man's head because he's photographing these officials, and there will be there'll be various sorts of agents, armed National Guard and military, paramilitary, ICE agents, all with guns, and the new police, the new Donald J. Trump military-style police that are going to run all the cities, particularly those cities that were formerly, right, formerly held well, let's put it this way, those cities, right, that have African-American mayors are all being, the power in those cities is all being transferred to Donald J. Because, one of the new rules is if you're a person of color in the United States, you can't be an elected city official. Even if you were elected, they're going to take the power away from you. And if you don't believe me, call this gentleman, Stephen, Jewish cracker, don't know he black, Miller, and ask him about it. All right, so let's talk about some of the changes. I already mentioned one of them. This is now a whites-only terminal, train station, the Confederacy, the Confederacy Station, or Station of the Confederacy, or Confederate Station, right? And like I said, if you're a person of color, you're going to have to wait outside. And other individuals who are not allowed in this building and will be either arrested or shot, or arrested and shot on site include drug addicts, the homeless, the mentally ill, individuals with disabilities, and I think I'm forgetting somebody. Oh yes, anyone who looks like they're an immigrant. And how they determine whether you're a person of color, or a drug addict, or homeless, or mentally ill, or have a disability, or illegal alien is they just decide. If one of these agents here decides and that you look like that, then that's who you are. And of course you can be held, and go on trial, or you can be sent to Uruguay, or Uganda, or let's see, where else they send you? El Salvador, or where else? They might decide to send you. Colombia. I'm not sure if they actually send you to Colombia, but wherever they decide to send you, Alligator, Alcatraz, or whatever, and you may or may not receive the trial. But if they determine that you look like a drug addict, a homeless individual, you look like you have mental illness, or you appear to be, walking funny, like maybe you have a disability, or talking funny, slurring your speech, something like that, and, you can be arrested on site. Now, there are some exceptions, like this guy slurs his speech all the time, but that's a different issue, right? Okay, because that's Pete. I always want to call him Chris. I don't know why. Pete, alcohol doesn't create national security risks. People do. Hegg says, yes. And, okay, so let's talk about some of the new rules. So, you can, as you can see, white, people in the background, white, and white, this guy, well, he's Jewish, but as we said, Stephen, Jewish cracker, don't know he black, so he gets in, and white, a lot of white folks in there, and let's see, so another, some more people, so everything is going to be segregated these days by both the artificial construct of race, which was invented, as you historians know, and as my longtime listeners and viewers know, or longtime listeners and viewers of the contract and feature Theta, the construct of race was invented to justify slavery, as you can see here. So, hence, its reimagination in Confederate Union. Not Confederate Union, Confederate Station. I still want to call it the Union Station. I have such good memories of Union Station, but that's all gone. That's all a thing of the past. Oh well. For example, things would be segregated now, not merely by this artificial construct of race, but by the alignment of this artificial construct of gender with this biologically determined, binary male and female mating axis, right? Okay, so as everyone knows, gender and biological sex are two different things, but not anymore, not according to the Confederate Station. And the restrooms in the Confederate Station are designated as there will be 45 stations for white heterosexual males, and there will be 45 stations for white heterosexual females. And of course, as an exclusionary policy, if you're a trans person, or if you're a lesbian, or if you're gay, or if your sexual identity, either your sexual identity or your understanding of your own gender is fluid in any way, shape, or form, you will not be allowed in the building. So it is, this is the Confederate Station is for heterosexual white folks, okay? And if you don't fall into that category, then you're not allowed in. So we can make a certain assumption about all these folks who are standing right here. So we can say, we don't know this guy, but we have to assume now that he's a straight white male. He's a straight white female, and then in the background, same business. All these folks over here, unless they snuck in, right? They could have snuck in, right? They're passing, like this guy with the phone. Maybe he's homosexual, passing as a straight white man in Confederate Station. Who knows? All right. So I think. Restaurants and places to shop. Same thing. Same structure of segregation and all those things. Okay. So the restrooms. Okay. So there'll be restrooms for. They'll be segregated by gender, this construct of gender that under these standards, right, is aligned with this biological sex determination and heteronormativity. Okay, so if you're not heteronormative, then you don't get to go use the restroom. You understand? And for the restaurants and the shopping areas, okay, those are not segregated by gender, but they're still segregated by heteronormativity, you understand, and race. So you can, if, say you're married, say you have this heterosexual normative relationship with someone, and it's authored by the state, right, because you have a license and you're allowed to get married, and you can forget about all those same-sex marriages because they're out the window now. But for you heterosexual folks out there, then you can still dine with your wife or your husband or your kids, in one of these restaurants, or you can go into a store. You just can't go into your spouse's restroom. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta be heterosexual to come into the building in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not, then you can't go shopping, and you can't go out to the restaurant, and you certainly can't use the restrooms. But even if you do use the restrooms, don't if your husband, see this guy, you gotta worry about him, right? Because he's a rapist. So he may be trying to sneak into the heterosexual white woman's restroom, and because that's, you can see the smile on his face. That's the kind of stuff that these creepy guys do, right? But technically, he's not allowed. He may have, like, how James Bond has a license to kill. Maybe Pete, I wanted to say Chris again. Maybe Pete, alcohol doesn't pose national security risk. People do. Hegseth has a license to molest women in the Confederate Station white heterosexual woman's restroom. I'm not sure, but in that James Bond kind of way. But who knows? There he is. I think it's 5 times. I'm not sure. 3, 4, or 5 times winner of the ex-military and/or hillbilly swift boating national championship and all that. So, is there anything else you need to know about the new station? I don't think so. Well, if I think of anything, I'll come back and I'll explain it all over again. Anyway, there they are with their Confederate flags taking over. Be sure to call, vote on your preference. Is it going to be Confederate Station, or Station of the Confederacy, or Confederacy Station? That's 202-289-1908. This is Turkey, signing off. Have a good day.